I thought it was fun.
Okay. All right. Well, Bridget, you're next.
Okay. If you had to pick a new name for yourself, what would you pick? This one I've always thought about because I used to hate my name. I used to always hate my name because I thought it was so dumb. I was like, why would my mom give me such a difficult name? Bridget. Every substitute gets it wrong.
Yeah.
And so I was always like, what name would I have? And I always picked, I don't know why, I was Brianna,
Mm-hmm.
Natalie.
You get these are the names you get.
Yeah,
called?
these are the names like I thought I would want. Now I like my name. But it would be like Brianna, Natalie, or maybe like Chloe or something. I don't know. That was it though.
Yeah.
Those are like the only names I thought I would see myself with.
And that's like one of the things in school. I think that also, like, if people get our names wrong, I know for Terrell, it's like struck a nerve with you even into your adult life when somebody would get your name wrong.
Yeah, I I don't like it. I don't, but I mean, everybody can't get it right on the first try. So you just gotta keep on moving
Mm-hmm.
and not worry about it. Because back when I was younger, it used to really make me mad, and I used to get it and to put myself in a position to where I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I won't. Now I'll just be like, it's this, but sometimes I might say something else. But I just try to be real cool with it about it now because ain't no reason to get mad over it. Just explain it to them.
Yeah. Okay, Darius, you're up next.
If I could marry a fictional character, who would it be?
Bridget, hey, don't get mad.
I'm not.
I don't. I really do not know. To be honest with you,
There's not like one fictional character from like no like movies or anything. None.
I'm trying to think, and I'm thinking of all the movies I like to watch, and all the females in those movies. No,
Okay,
Okay.
that's cool.
Okay. All right. For Terrell, for your last one.
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
How many chickens?
Yeah.
I don't know.
a lot of chickens.
A lot.
One with salmonella.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for
That's
that.
just it. Just says that.
Yeah, how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
That is so strange.
That's about my life right there. Strange.
Well, okay. So one of my favorite things that we used to do that we don't do anymore is family game night, and I think that's really important, like for mental health. You know, that time either with your husband or your wife or your kids or family. We get caught up working too much, way too much, and so that's something that we need to prioritize in our life. Bridget, hey, in y'all's house, do y'all have like a certain time that's for family?
Mm-mm.
Do y'all have
No.
a you don't?
No, I mean, kind of. We all just ran like at some point in time. I'll have to like put something up in my room, and I'll need my dad's help. So my dad would be up there like putting shelves up, and then all of a sudden the whole family is like in my room. I
Yeah.
guess that's family bonding time. I don't know why that happens. It
Yeah.
always happens every time. I have to put my vanity up, and my dad comes up there just to fix it, and my whole family ends up coming up there, and we're up there for like 2 hours.
Your place is like the chill spot.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
But I think it's important, like for that family time, especially at y'all's age, because y'all have so much stress at in high school. There's so many things you're thinking about. You're coming into being like your own. Like you just started driving. You got a car today. That's exciting. You want to tell us about your new vehicle?
The only good thing. No, not the only good thing about it, because there's a lot of good things. But I've just been wanting that car since I was like 10, and so like I always talked about it. And it started with like the most random thing that I wanted at first was like a Jeep, and I wanted it to be all pink, until all the way to like now it's just I just want it to be white. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I got my dream car, so that's
It is your dream car. Is it a Wrangler?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You're a hard worker. So tell me where you place in state as far as, because I keep going back to the mental part of wrestling, like how long you've done it, who trained you, how long you've been in it. What's the biggest struggle for you as far as like mentally preparing for it?
I come across multiple big struggles. The biggest one is probably comparing myself to other people, because I can see how far certain people have gone, and I'm like, why haven't I've gone that far and I've been doing, but it always comes back to, well, you just have to go push harder. That's on you, on how far you get. Your success is on you.
Yeah.
And so I just always have to tell myself, just don't compare myself to other people and to just know that I'm doing good. But in state wise, I'll do good throughout the year. And then once state actually comes, I just have to get better every year.
And that's probably the most stressful part is like preparing for state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because y'all have to stay in a certain weight bracket.
Yeah, but the thing is like I'll only go against people that are like local. Like at state, all people from Houston, El Paso, they all come down here. And so it's like I don't compete with those people throughout the year because they're so far out.
Yeah.
So I have to like prepare myself and be like, okay, I've never gone against this person. I have to make sure I go even harder because
Right.
I've never competed against them before, so I don't know what they do.
Right. And like when you get caught up, I know for me and anything I do, when I get caught up thinking about my opponent, then it's a distraction and then I end up making more mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Darius, let's talk about football and the mental health that's involved with like keeping your cool on the sideline. How strenuous is football mentally? You're on 2 days, all that.
Football is the most mentally pressing sport that there is out there. I don't care what nobody says, it is. You got to remember the plays, you got to remember the formations, and then you also have to fight for your spot, which, I mean, there's nobody out there that doesn't want to start. That's what you play the sport to do. So you're fighting for a spot. You're also you will find yourself comparing yourself to the other person that you're competing against. It just happens. That's how it goes. Then you have to make sure that you don't mess up, and you got to make sure that you block the guy this way. And if you block the guy the other way, then it doesn't work and the play's over. So if I go to get this guy and I block him outside and the play is designed for me to block him inside, then I just got pulled because I did the wrong thing completely. If I don't block a guy right, I get pulled because I did the wrong thing completely. If I run the wrong route, I get pulled because I didn't do the thing completely. So it's mental. It's mental from the point. And may I add, you also have the teams in our district are extremely tough. So you're thinking, okay, these dudes are tough. These dudes are good. Now you're watching film on these dudes. You're thinking, okay, how am I going to go block this linebacker? Am I going to cut him? Where do I cut him? Do I cut him in his thigh? Do I go for his hip? Where do I do it? Am I strong enough to go block this guy? Am I strong enough to go block this corner up top, or do I need to cut him too as safety? And so it's really a lot of mental preparation, a lot of mental. It's really more mental than it is physical, because I mean I can run out there and go put my shoulder in a guy's thigh and call it a day, but there's so much more you got to think about. It's actually insane from the play, from getting the play from the sideline. You have your coach over there and he's doing weird signs to everybody else, but to you, you have to know what it is. You have to know that that's yellow 15, archangel something, and you're sitting there, okay, and now you gotta break it down in your head before the play even starts, and you don't have that much time to break it down. You have to break that play down in about 4 seconds maybe before you got to get to the line and hike the ball. So it's like, okay. And then sometimes, especially because I play slot, sometimes I have to know what the tackle's going to be doing. And if the tackle does this, then I have to do this. If the end does this, I have to do this. If the linebacker does this, I have to do this. Outside linebacker does this, I have to do this. If he calls tag, then I have to move up. If he calls C gap, then I got to get the outside linebacker. So it's a lot, like a lot. And it's strainful. And then you have the physical aspect of it, of going to practice every day. Then you have to think, okay, after practice, now I got to do all my homework. I have to do everything. You're not getting home till like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and you're like, oh, like I don't want to do this. You still got to shower. You still got to eat. It's insanely stressful.
And who do you play for the listeners that don't know?
Big Centennial Spartans, man.
And your slot and what else?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I know you play a couple of positions.
I mean, I play corner, and that's, oh my goodness, corner in its own. It's a very, 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 very serious thing. I didn't even think about that. For all the listeners out there, corner is the most difficult thing. Matter of fact, no, it's not, because actually safety in our system, it's a no-go. It's a no-go.
It's a no-go.
It's a no-go.
So you think football is the most out of all the sports you've played, that football is the most mentally pressing,
Yes, in offense.
even over wrestling, because you were a
Yes,
wrestler
I was
too.
a wrestler. Yes.
Yeah.
Because with wrestling, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some mental stuff in there, but to be honest with you, it's all reaction. Who can react the fastest? Because first of all, if somebody does something to you and you're thinking about what you're gonna do next, you've already lost. I'm gonna be honest with you. So it's really, if he does this, I gotta react and do this. The counters have to come quick. They have to be off a reflex, not off thought. Football, oh my goodness, it's both. It's like 2 and 2. Because then if like let's go with inside run, right? 32. Okay. So my job is to block actually, I don't have a specific job. It's kind of tossed up in the air, so I have to make a read. That's stressful. So I basically come off the tackle's butt, and if the tackle veers and clears, and he goes up to that linebacker, then I have to put my shoulder into that end and trying to kind of wall him out, which is insanely hard to do when you weigh 150 pounds going up against end that's like twice as big as you. But that's besides the point. Or if they call C gap, which means the linebacker has walked up, then I have to find a way to. I still have to step in with that tackle. But if that linebacker shoots, I have to like. There's no. I have to see him. I just have to, and I have to pick him up. Because if I don't, no, that's bad. I just got my running back killed. So.
And in football, we're talking about mental health. In football, if there's a lot of post concussions, there's a lot of issues there with mental health, and in some cases, sadly, even suicide. Terrell, who was the one player?
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau.
Shout
You
himself.
have to come up to your mic.
Junior Seau. Who else, D?
It was Junior Seau.
I got another question for you, D, though. Like, how did you feel after you got your first concussion?
I didn't even think I had a concussion. Matter of fact, I really did not think I got a concussion.
You tried going out right when you went to the sideline.
I actually did go back on the field, which is very dangerous. I didn't know I had a concussion.
I remember that.
I remember that too. I remember him like getting knocked out, land on the ground for like 2 seconds.
It was
then,
so scary.
and then the next moment he seen the guy with the ball, he tries to get up and tackle, and then gets knocked out again. And
He
tries
was
to get up and
getting
walk.
up. He was like walking off the field. He was like literally screaming, "I can't see anything. I can't see." And then walked onto the sidelines and was telling the trainer, because it was like a away game, so we had to use their head trainer from the other school, and he was telling him, "I'm going back out. I'm going back." And she was like, "No, you're not. Sit down." And then I don't know how he convinced her, but he ended up going back out, and I was like so scared because I didn't want him to get hit again.
He snuck past that coach.
Really?
No problem. He did. He know he did. He know he did.
I did.
But how did that make you feel after you had your first one?
I didn't really care. It was only my first one. I mean, concussion. You can have one concussion. I feel like everybody has one concussion in their life.
Some words, some no. Down the line. Okay.
Okay, so Mental Health Awareness Month. Each year, millions of Americans face the reality of living with a mental illness. During May, NAMI, N-A-M-I, joins the national movement to raise awareness about mental health. Each year, we fight a stigma, provide support, and educate the public and advocate for policies that support people with mental illnesses and their families. So there is a stigma with mental health, and I don't like that. I feel like people are so quick to be like, "Oh my gosh, they're crazy," or like. If we take care of our bodies and everything else, why are we not taking care and we're not focusing on mental health? Like it's so important. And there's a stigma when people want to go talk to someone that, oh yeah, they had to have it's healthy to go and talk to someone. It takes a strong person to say, you know what, I might need to talk to someone. That's a big step. That shows that person cares about themselves and their care about, their mental health. And that's so important, especially with you kiddos today.
Correct.
I commend y'all when y'all are smart. Y'all are like really smart.
Smarter than I was back then.
And y'all's counselors are there at the school. I love the counselors at Centennial High School. I used to work with them. That's not the only reason why I love them, but they're really good. Like they tell y'all that y'all have support there at the school, right? Yeah. It's just probably not easy sometimes to talk to those teachers. Yeah. Like no desire.
Those teachers?
Yeah, like the counselors. Do you know who the counselors are at Centennial?
No.
I only have 2 teachers that I would actually talk to if I ever needed anything.
So would it bother y'all, or would y'all feel ashamed to go, or would you try to hide going to talk to someone?
I would rather.
My mental health.
Mhm.
I just deal with mine on my own.
Yeah. See, that's the stigma I'm talking about, and that's so bad for us, you know. And that's why, you know, I think it's important to this month, in the month of May, to spread awareness and to talk about, like Tiffany said, Naomi Judd yesterday. I love the Judd sisters, and they were country singers. Y'all won't know this because y'all are younger, but I mean, she killed herself, and it's just sad that someone that, you know, we're on the outside looking in, and just because people have status or they have money, that doesn't mean that they're happy, you know. You're Robin Williams, you know, you look at all these great, you know, actresses and actors and performing artists, you know, vocally, and at the end of the day, you know, they all struggle too. You know, we're all the same. We're all children of God. We all have our own struggles, regardless of what your belief or your faith is in. You know, we weren't born to be perfect. We're not meant to be perfect, but being able to speak up and say, hey, that didn't seem right, or I don't feel good about this, or I'm worried about this person because they're showing signs of, you know, issues with maybe saying things that just kind of didn't sit right with you. And it's so important to speak up on those topics and or tell someone, you know, especially if it's a friend. You know, if you look in the notes here, we posted about Mental Health Awareness Month, and we'll talk more about that when we come back. And we'll be back after these messages. Thanks.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Serving Johnson County, Texas. JOCO Community Radio.
And we are back from our break. JOCO Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The JOCO Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more are brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 1-844-TEXHAIL. Welcome back, everybody. This is the For the Kingdom show, and we talk about Everything from speaking love and honor into faith, finance, freedom, and conquering the fires. Proverbs 31:26 reminds us of that. And today we're talking about mental health and the importance of mental health. Today's May 1st, Sunday, May 1st, and May 1st through Tuesday, May 31st. May 31st is Mental Health Awareness Month. It has been observed in May in the United States since 1949. Hey, my mom was born then. The month is observed with media, local events, and film screenings. Mental Health Awareness Month began in the United States in 1949 and was started by the Mental Health American Organization.
That's a whole lot.
That was a whole mouthful. There you go. Got your mix on. Okay, so we're back, and we were talking about we have our two Centennial Spartans here. We have Darius and we have Brigitte, and Brigitte is a very successful works wrestles for the Lady Spartans. Is their Lady Spartans wrestling team? And her birthday was on the 27th of April.
26.
26. I'm
You were
sorry.
close, it's okay.
And she's 16. So thank you for coming up here and being able to drive up here and hang out with us tonight. Darius has a birthday tomorrow, May 2nd. He's our May baby. And he's a Centennial Spartan athlete, football. He did do wrestling as well and track, and he's just a well-rounded, very talented student. But they both have talked about their issues with mental health, not issues with mental health, but their struggles and the challenges with mental health, with schoolwork, with sports and everything that they do, and how that can be a challenge for them. So, Terrell,
Yes, ma'am.
would you like to share your mental health struggle or a time where you were really affected by something and you had to just wake up and tell yourself every day to get through that, and how God helped you through that?
When I was in school a long time ago, I used to get bullied. So it kind of messes with your mental health. Like you're not this or you're not that. And you try to live up to somebody else's image of you. And then one day I just kind of figured out, like, it's all on me no matter what. You just got to be confident in who you are. And yes, I prayed a little back then for God to help me through that. But I didn't understand why would somebody pick on somebody, because I was not the type to pick on people. Now, I might have said some stuff to some people that I shouldn't have, but I mean, when you're a bully to somebody, like, it affects their whole psychological programming, the way they work, the way they think, the way they do stuff, the way they act. And eventually, like, it's like poking that sleeping bear. Eventually that bear is going to wake up. And when it does, I just pray that bear is more considerate than what I was back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was mine.
And that was from childhood. And I think that's so important to realize, like, at their age and even younger, like, things that happen to us that, even when we're like tiny, before we even start school, like, that affects us for the rest of our life. Like, you still carry that to this day. I still carry some of the things that happened in my child to this day. I know our kids are going to carry some of the things that they've been through. It's made them stronger, but they'll always have that. And I think the important thing is just always refocusing that what we've been through, and no matter what comes next to us, just being like, God, you brought me through that, and I'm still here, I'm still sane, I can still talk to you, I'm not, I still have my sound mind, and then just learning to give it all to him. I think that's probably you can talk about medicines and going to talk to somebody, but ultimately my personal belief is the very best way to handle things is just give them to God. And it's so hard. It's so hard to be like, this hurt me. My mom or my dad did this, or my friend or my brother or my sister did this, and it really, really hurt me. But God, I'm going to give you that pain, and I'm going to release that pain from me so I can be happy inside. And sometimes we're like 20, 30 years old when we're like, we hear it when we're younger, but sometimes we're like really old. And sometimes some of the people I love the most go their whole life and they never, that switch in the head of just letting go of all that pain,
You got to let it go to live. If you don't, I mean, you're just carrying around weight that you don't need to carry.
Right.
So
And for me, my personal, I'll get a little personal right now. I have talked to someone before, but the first time I had biblical counseling, I went to shout out to Crazy 8 Ministries. It's been probably about nearly 9 years ago, but I went and talked to them, and it was the first biblical counseling I ever had. Crazy 8 Ministries is here in Burleson. I will put somewhere in the chat where you can go to get more information on that. But I know. Open Door Church also has, a prayer line that I sometimes volunteer at, but there's always ladies answering that line, and you can call and you can have people pray with you, and I will provide that number as well. But I know that the first time I went to biblical counseling, I had all this pain, all this trauma that I never even told anybody about, that from way, way, way back. And this lady who had a psychology major, she was a Christian. She did this exercise with me, and she said, and I encourage anybody that's listening right now, if you've ever been through anything and you have childhood trauma or trauma, it doesn't matter. If you are holding on to pain, do this exercise. Imagine in your mind this big, beautiful white sheet. Okay. Just because we associate, white with, cleanliness and all that. So in your mind, I want you to just, close your eyes, picture this big white sheet. I want you to think of every person that hurt you, every moment that hurt you, every word, every action, every interaction, every thought of to yourself, how you've hurt you, because we're our biggest critics. We really are. We're like our worst enemies sometimes, because we beat ourselves up in our mind. The thoughts that we have are so terrible sometimes about ourselves, and they're not true. They're not from God. And put all that in that sheet. Put all that pain in that sheet. And now in your mind, I want you to see you like pulling up the four corners, kind of like a stork, like they carry the blanket through the sky, the baby stork. Well, she didn't say that, but fold that up, tie it up at the top, and then just say, okay, God, I give it to you. And just see in your mind's eye, like that big white sheet with all that pain, all that trauma, just going up into the sky like a balloon, and just, it's gone. Like it's up there. Like it's not on your shoulders no more. Let me tell you, when I went through that with that lady at Crazy 8 Ministries, it was literally like weight just fell off me. Like I cannot explain it. And it's like, that's when my healing started, is when I let go of all that pain. So that's my encouragement for the day. Whoever's listening, I hope that works for you, but it helped me. It was the beginning of my healing for a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think I've told you that story before.
Yes, I've heard it once or twice.
Yeah. But like Dee was saying, like at that age, like we just push and push, just push it down, push it down, push it down. You have deadlines, papers that are due, your coach is grapping at you, or, your mom's like, get out the door, you're going to be late. And like,
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about that. Dee really has a lot on us for that. But, so yeah, I don't know what to say. What was a time that you had, Terrell, where you, besides what you talked about, but how do you deal now?
With what, mental health?
Yeah, like when something bothers you. Because when we first met, it struggled for you to open up to me about things. Like you would just like, I'd be like, does that bother you? No.
I mean, every time you tell somebody something and then something don't go their way, when you're talking to them, they bring it back up and throw it in your face. So that was like, that was a real struggle, because it's tough to tell somebody something in confidence, and then next thing you know, y'all have a little disagreement and it's getting thrown right back up in your face.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I mean, you just don't trust people at that point, because you know that, okay, you're just gonna use me. You're just gonna use the information I gave you, even though that we had a disagreement, and you're gonna throw it up in my face. And it's not supposed to be like that, because most people you tell that type of information to, you love them to a certain degree, and or you at least have a little trust in them and everything. So that way, when you tell them and they throw it back up in your face, you're like, oh, this is how we're going to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, and then it just makes you kind of just shut down and not ever tell nobody nothing, because nobody, like, why would you? Because you keep having the same experience over and over and over and over. And eventually you learn, like, just be quiet and don't say nothing. I can tell you something, but I'm just going to say it very simply, to where I ain't going to be judged for it, basically.
Right. Right. And now we're talking about, manifesting those thoughts and trusting people and the way God would want us to trust people, because we're hardened and we're kind of jaded, like the way you're talking right now. Like I feel still pain from that and frustration with that. So I think if we try to think like God and see things like he does, it's easier if we try to ask for us to see things through his eyes.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now I just pray for him and let it go because there ain't no reason to hope for me to hold on to it.
And that's what that Bible says, is to
I'm
pray
just-
for your enemies.
I'm just gonna pray for you and let you be because if I hold on to it, then it's gonna bring me more struggles and troubles in my world, and I ain't got time for that.
Right. Oops, sorry. I was trying to put the phone number in here. Oh, here we go. I'm putting the open door. Sorry about that. The phone number for people that want to call for prayer. If you're struggling with mental illness, there's some really, really great people that will answer the phones and pray for you. It's open door prayer lines. This is our church. Putting it in the chat now. Phone number. Oops. Okay. There it is. I literally put it like right underneath it. Okay. But I think it's important, to give it to God. And I know for their age, they might not always do that because their walk might not, everybody's walk is different. Like I didn't think about when I was your age, like, oh, let me just give it to God. But we hear it all the time. But then when you start going through like some real stuff, because I look back on stuff that happened when I was younger and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was, a valley. I thought I was struggling then. Ugh, look what we're going through now.
Oh yeah, but you think about that. Like when you're a kid, you got no responsibilities besides you. But once you start getting into the world, you start adding responsibilities to yourself, and the more responsibilities you add to yourself, and if you're not disciplined, it's hard for you to manage that, and eventually it becomes overwhelming to you, and you're trying to figure a way how to get out of it. So it's just baby steps back the opposite direction just to get back to where you were.
That's true. So there's some games that you can play that it can actually improve your mental health too.
What games you got?
Okay. This is trying to see who this is, but the color game, the shortest short story, non-dominant hand day, find a hidden object, test your memory, create a story, or count backwards. I've heard of the count backwards one. I used to work for the surgeon and I used to get on his nerves all the time because I would be forgetful and all this stuff. And anyways, I won't get into it, but he would literally close his eyes. We would be about to go into the room with the patient and I didn't have like the right operative report in there, I had an ultrasound report in there, but it was the wrong date. Okay. And he would just take this deep breath. And I knew that he was frustrated with me. And he would literally close his eyes and he would be like, 100, 99, 98. And I was like, okay. And I would just stop talking. And then he would open up his eyes and I'm like, are you better? And he was like, yes. But he would look at me like, yes, I am. As long as you just stop talking.
Yeah. I can see why he did that. I can see why he count backwards.
What do y'all do when y'all get stressed out? Bridget, what do you do when you get frustrated and stressed out?
I just kind of don't really talk much. I'm just kind of quiet. There's either two things. Either I'm quiet and I won't talk because I'm frustrated. I'm just like, or I'm just like, I'll get upset and then I'll just be like, say how I feel. It's either one of the two. Normally, I'll just like kind of just stay quiet and just not really say anything until I'm actually like really upset. And then
Right.
I'll say how I feel.
How about you, D?
I just shut down. I get away from everybody because it can get bad if I don't. So I really just basically shut down and restart.
I got you. Okay, I got a question for both of y'all. So with both of y'all answers, how do you think you improve on that? Like, how do you think you make it better?
My way of being more quiet, and when I'm quiet and I don't say anything, it's because I'm upset. But then after the first 10 minutes, I think about it. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'll talk about how I feel.
Okay.
But whenever I'm just so upset and so much builds up and then I just say how I feel, kind of, I guess, impulsively in a way, that's like, I didn't have time to think. So it's not good. That's like the negative way of responding to how stress.
Okay. How about you, D?
What was the question?
How do you make it to where you don't have to shut down? Like, if you do shut down, what could you do to change that in that moment?
I don't know. Shutting down is the most healthiest way I've dealt with.
Is there any other ways that you've tried to deal with it?
No, every other way I've ended up breaking something or hurting somebody's feelings or something awful. So shutting down is it's my best way.
Okay.
I think we all are alike in so many ways because we all have our ways of coping. But I feel like Dee said, that's one of the most, probably the most one of the shared ways of people, the way they respond is just shut down, walk away, because it's like a protective mechanism.
It's a barrier because it putting a barrier between you and that person,
Right.
and it just helps you just be like, okay, let me go do this, but let me give me some time to cool off, and I can come back and see you, and maybe we can solve this.
Right. And they always say, like, never make a decision when you're angry or you're upset. Like, wait for those emotions to pass because we don't think logically. We make, decisions on haste or, we make a decision that later we're like, you know what? If I would have sat and I reflected on that, took it to God, prayed about it. I think that's the biggest thing for me is like, let me pray about it. Let me pray about it. And then when I go to pray about it, I don't know about other people that are listening, but the way I do is I ask for the Holy Spirit to make it well with my soul, like make that what I'm supposed to do, like seem right to me, and if I'm thinking about doing something else, make my vibe or my feeling to be like, oh no, that wouldn't be the right thing to do.
Okay.
So I like to try to be spirit led, especially when I'm upset.
Yeah.
And I'll tell I'll start to have a thought like about you, if I'm frustrated with you or something, and I'll think something and it's not nice. And immediately I've started doing this, telling myself. And then when I think that, I say like in my mind, 5 great things about you.
Yeah, I ain't did that one yet.
Do it. The next time you're frustrated with me or somebody, and I challenge the people that are listening, replace that one bad thought with 3 good thoughts about that person. And like you were saying, pray for them.
Yeah, that's all I can do. I mean, at that point, because ain't nothing gonna change where you feel about me until you decide to change.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm gonna let it go. Now I'm just gonna let them like duck, like a water off a duck's back. It just rolls off.
Yeah.
Because I can't be affected by that because like the mission is different now. Like there's a different journey I walk on every single day because if I'm up and you trying to stop me from being a certain way or trying to make my actions go down a negative path or you trying to make me upset, have fun with it, man, because you're going to be working a long time because I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to probably laugh at you and just walk away from you and start praying for you.
And that takes what you're saying you do, walk away and praying for somebody. That takes a real masculine man to do that. Because like when you were younger and I was younger, we were hotheads. Yes, it does.
I know, but when I was younger, I probably would.
No, I know. I'm talking about what you do now, how you handle it now.
Oh, yeah,
is
now.
a very masculine way.
Yeah.
And I think that's another stigma, another misconception in like the world is that, oh no, people that are tough or that, fight back. No, you can be like, I'm going to pray for you. Now, if you need to defend yourself, okay, let's throw some hands. I'm not going to let anybody I'm not going to let anybody, come at me. No cap. Nobody's going to come at me or my family. Silence his mic, so it's not frustrations. But my point is, okay, first of all, everybody's laughing. Shelly's got hands. Act like you do.
Okay.
But seriously, like if you come for me or my family, I'm going to protect myself or my family. But I'm not just going to be like, hold me back, trying to scrap, because somebody said something I didn't like. I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to put my hands on him either because that's going to start something. But I am going to say, I'm going to pray for you. And sometimes it can be taken like you're being a smart aleck. Like I had one girl, she didn't know whether to get mad. We were out the pool. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
This is okay. A little bit of story here. So it's been probably 7 or 8 years ago. 7. We're at the pool and this lady is out there and she's just belligerent. Okay. She had been drinking all day and we've been out at the pool, this apartments we lived in, and our kids were out there and we had just got home from work and they got out of school and they were having fun and they were splashing and throwing the football. Well, the football nearly hit her drink, or it did hit her drink. I can't remember.
It hit up under her seat.
Her
she was on.
laying out chair.
Yeah.
Well, she jumps up and she's like, whose ball was that? And then, Mama Bear, I'm like, whoa, here we go. So no, but I'm like, I stand back, I wait, I see how you were going to handle it. And then she just kept getting more and more belligerent. And she's like, you need to control your kids. And this is really not a place for to be throwing the ball out here. There's other people out here. Okay. It was her and like 20 other kids. So she was definitely outnumbered, the kid to parent ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the kids out there had parental supervision. So it was kind of crazy, is my point. Well, I just told her it took everything in me because I just wanted to just be like, go like this, this me coming my flesh, just be like, I am gonna pray for you and put my hand on her. But I knew that was wrong, and I was like, that is not what I'm supposed to do. And I was like, ma'am, I am gonna pray for you. And she wanted to hit me so bad, but she didn't.
No.
And I'm glad she didn't because all the kids were out there, and it would have been bad. So walk away and pray for people. Even if you tell them you're going to pray for them, do not put your hands on them and pray for them right then and there because that could be misconceived.
Yeah,
Conceived.
I'll walk away and I pray for you. I'm not touching you
Yeah.
because I ain't trying to catch no charges and I don't feel like fighting right now.
And some people do not want you in their bubble.
Yeah, I got a 4-foot bubble and I'm good. What your
Yeah,
bubble's like?
4 foot.
That's like from me to her.
Yeah.
Like that's plenty of space.
Yeah.
So
Like the first when COVID first happened, like 6 feet apart.
man,
Do you remember?
COVID.
Do y'all remember before COVID when sometimes you'd be in the gas station or the dollar store and the stranger right behind you would literally be like right here?
I dislike when people are standing that close to me.
That's my
Period.
biggest pet peeve. Is
Like-
when like you're at Walmart
Yeah.
and you have your cart and you're going down an aisle and a lady is like walking right next to you, or you'll go and pull into like a self checkout and someone's like standing right behind you to go next. It's like
Yeah, like,
leave.
why would you stand that close to somebody? I got to give you your space because I like my space.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be this close to you while you're doing something.
But
I'm going to be like, it's going to be a distance because I don't know, man. It makes me uncomfortable and it makes me think. And I'm not focused on what I need to do because I don't care if I'm buying gas. You stand that close to me, I'm thinking in my head what could happen.
I've done it before. I've literally like walked up close to someone like right on their back and then been like, oh my gosh, why I'm standing so close to them?
Yeah, that's kind of how you drive.
No.
Oh, I said it out loud. I thought I said it in my head.
Here
My
we
bad.
go. Bridget, hey, your little Joel is so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Give your mom a shout out and your dad shout out right now what they do.
So my dad does permanent makeup, so he does brows and lips, and then my mom does tooth gems, and they're both Moses Garcia and Ashley Garcia.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
And we can find them on social media.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Oh, girl.
Hold on, because my dad has multiple accounts. So he has like his main one, and then my mom's is No Limits Tooth Gems, and my dad's is No Limits Cosmetics.
Okay, so No Limits Tooth Gems. That's GEMS, and No
Mhm.
Limit Cosmetics.
Mhm.
Both.com.
No,
Yeah, that's their
okay.
Instagram
Instagram.
Oh, okay, okay.
and their Facebook, but that's where you could go to the website
Yeah.
and stuff from there.
I like that. People can't see it, but you got little jewels on your
I know.
teeth.
It's like at tournaments and stuff. I've only had one ref tell me, like after the entire tournament was over, oh, you might need a mouth guard for that. But I literally went to state and they like don't even check it or anything. But it's always really scary though, because I always bring a mouth guard just in case.
How often
but-
does that come off?
It's these have been on, I think, 5 months.
5 months?
Mhm.
And
But
they're
I
on your
wanna-
bottom teeth?
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Thank you.
Does it feel kind of like just like like braces?
I don't feel it anymore.
You
At
don't?
first, you're kind of like, you feel something there. It doesn't really feel like anything. It feels like there's just gems there.
Yeah.
But then after a while, you don't notice it at all.
And it's on that one too.
Yeah, this one.
That's so cute. Just that one up top.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute.
Thank you.
Sorry. I was like, squirrel. Got sidetracked. But
So you want some gems in your teeth?
yeah. Well, I wanted to give your parents a shout out too on the radio.
Thank you.
Of course. Darius. So we were talking to Darius DM me today, and we're talking about mental health today, but we were talking about seeing if the kids wanted to start our own business, landscaping business with us. But mentally, I don't know if the four of us, because our oldest, he's out of it. He has his own family, but I don't know if the four of us could do that. I know that would be mentally a really big challenge. But what do you think, Bridget? Do you think, can you see Mia and Darius out there when we're out there trying to get roofs, out there passing their cards out, asking for landscape, telling people about their landscaping job?
I don't see Mia
You don't see Mia doing it? He-
I can see Darius actually doing the landscaping because he does it like he did it as a job.
Yeah.
But-
Well, the reason I bring it up because mentally it's challenging.
well, actually, no, I do see Mia. She's really bubbly.
Yeah,
So I can see her.
I see
not-
D like being like, I'm not gonna go knock on those people's door. D, would you do that? No.
No.
Okay. Well, I know for me, it's mentally challenging when we go and do it
Yeah,
because
because the heat is different. Like when you're doing landscaping, you got to do it when it's warm. You're doing it mostly during springtime and summer. Like it's okay to do it in the fall, but and you ain't getting no work in the winter.
yeah.
But
But I'm talking about the rejection, the
Oh,
mental part of
the
it.
rejection, well, depends on your skin. Like at one point, like you have to just be like,
Not color.
everybody's gonna say. I mean, somebody's gonna tell me no, but somebody's gonna tell me yes. So
You gotta have thick skin,
you
right?
just gotta have thick skin, like, and just not even worry about it. Like, yeah, those first few rejections are horrible, but guess what? Just keep on going.
Mm-hmm. Just try to get over it. All right. Well, that's all we have for the day.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you for listening. And mental health matters. And take care of yours. And I encourage you to come back and listen to us next Sunday at 8 p.m. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.